Yo, this video will explain the arena mode, known as Hunt, by breaking down 4 matches. Since this game mode isn't as popular as Mass Battle, it can be hard to know what to do. Yet there is a daily that requires you to play it, so it's good to know how. It's a misleading name because your main focus is to gather floating loot on the map, and bring it back to your team's starting location, which is a blue circle in the water. So it's closer to hoarding than it is to hunting as a title. You'll see circles on the minimap, some red and some gray. You can't actually see the loot that is gray when you look at the water. Your team's loot are the red circles. Since the cargo is spread out randomly on the map, it's good for your team to split up. You can start to see all the loot coming into view in front of me. All you have to do is get near it and press spacebar to pick it up. I can see that our team did a good job of splitting up 2 on each side, while the other team gathered on one side only. That means they are already at a huge disadvantage. I notice here that my teammate is coming over to our side, which we are already done gathering, and I see that there is still far away loot of ours on the other side he was on. Soon I realize he was actually chasing down one of the enemies. This is actually a huge opportunity. While the main goal is to gather cargo, you can still sink each other, which then drops the grayed out cargo that the other team's ships gathered. Since there is a total of 21 cargo floating for each team, it can easily become a tie. Because if no one sinks each other, it would end up just becoming a race of time. So I go in to help this guy, knowing the benefit if he is holding on to cargo. He had 5, which is a significant advantage. So I start heading back to drop off my cargo, but notice we only have 2 dropped off, but 2 teammates have already made it back to the base. So there is a good chance they don't realize how to drop off their loot. I explained it in chat to help them out, but might be too late. You can see when I enter the circle, it says stop to offload cargo, which is very important since a lot of the time people think they just have to touch it. It's also good to note that while being in combat or shot, you can't drop off your cargo. After dropping it off, I see our teammates going to gather the final loot. However, I notice there are only 4 cargo at sea when we only have 16 points. I even got an extra 5 from the other team, so one of our teammates didn't successfully drop off their cargo. When all the loot is picked up off the water, the game will end in 2 minutes. So since there isn't any more cargo for me to pick up, it's time for combat. There's a small chance that their team hasn't dropped off their cargo. So fighting will mainly come down to trying to protect our teammate who hasn't dropped off yet. But who is it? All I can do is guard everyone coming back. So we start sinking the guy here trying to stop us from dropping it off since the timer is going down. best thing I could do for my team would be to board this guy, so he can't shoot them. But that doesn't always work out. My teammates are trying to drop off the cargo in their hold, but don't know that they have to be out of combat. Now that the enemy is sinking, they must have a time limit on when they can actually drop it off. The timer is less than 10 seconds and it doesn't look like they're even staying still. Sadly, could have been an easy win, but little mistakes were made. Once again, the smart thing to do would be to spread out, which we did successfully. However, since I noticed that there weren't too many pieces of cargo to pick up on this side, I thought I'd try a different strategy, and I waited for the enemy to pick up their cargo. I didn't expect to have two other players immediately join the fight, but there's no going back now. I had no cargo to lose, and only more cargo to gain. It's important to note that in this game mode, you get to respawn, unlike the mass battle arena. Luckily, the other team decided not to protect him. Or so I thought. They did a quick U-turn to come help him, which immediately made things harder. I was completely focused on trying to take out that guy so my teammates would have more time. But the enemy made a great boarding move on me, which I forgot to set up a better boarding crew. Not only would I not be able to catch the other guy after the board, he also had a large crew. I can see all my teammates are at the base dropping off the loot, so there is no hope to finish off the enemy. I had to respawn, so I was too far away also. However, like the last match, when you drop off your cargo, you should get back into the fight. I see my teammates sitting at our base while the game is still not over. We have gathered all the cargo on our end, 21, but the enemy only shows 20, which means there's still a ship out there who still hasn't made it back. This potentially was the guy who boarded me. So all I can do is try to rush to their side to even get an attack in. This is when my teammates possibly could have been able to get there before me while I was fighting. You can see that most of us are rushing over to find the guy. But we didn't make it in time, so it ended up as a tie. Both sides collected their designated loot without taking each other's. Right off the start, you can see in the mini-map that the cargo is mainly on one side. So normally you'd split up 3 to 1. Luckily I think one of our viewers was playing with us. I went solo to get the 3 on this side, while I watched the minimap to see how things unfold. So far, I only see 3 of the enemy, so he could be coming to my side any second. For a second, I actually saw the 4th enemy on the other side, while also seeing that my teammate needed my help badly, so instead of turning in my cargo, I went over to help him if I could make it in time. He goes down, all I can do is try to take his loot first, or I'll have to engage into a fight, since they will win otherwise. Looks like I'll need a fight, and I can only guess which one actually looted. I'm trying hard to board him, but I can't catch his speed. Not only that, my teammate is actually getting sunk also behind me. So they have 2 cargo loads of loot from my fallen brothers. And I'm stuck chasing this guy, but luckily enough, I'm chasing him straight back to our side. I can see my teammate starting to come out and cut him off. I also glance at the clock, thinking all the cargo was collected, thinking that the clock would be below 2 minutes. However, we still had 5 minutes left, because the enemy never collected on the side I started on. So we have to sink this guy, and then defend that loot. The enemy seems confused about which side he should be going to at this point, almost bringing the cargo to our doorstep. Funny enough, again our teammate is just sitting at our base after dropping off loot, thinking he is AFK and is going to let the guy get away. But for whatever reason, the enemy faceplants directly into our AFK Stonewall player. Actually comes back in time to loot, then backs up and begins to drop it off. So I pull up next to him to drop off my cargo. Then he starts sailing away. He didn't drop off the cargo, and the score is still 13 to 20. Psych, he goes back and drops it off, but the score is still 19 to 20. This doesn't make sense though, because there aren't any cargo at sea and everyone made it back. The guy out there had already come back here before going out again. So one of these 2 guys in front of me didn't actually drop their cargo off. I tried messaging them, but no reply. They are too focused on wanting to fight. So all I can do is try to sink the enemy in hopes that they have a single cargo on them. Our teammate is still just sitting at the base and didn't help trying to catch these guys. So who knows who had the cargo on them, but we lost because of it. So far, many strategies didn't work, and lots of dependency on teammates. So I figured this time I was going to completely mix things up, since in this game there isn't one way to do anything. How I explained before, a player can't drop off their cargo if they are being attacked or moving. So my strategy was to let my teammates gather the cargo while I gatekeeped their base. While this is a strategy, it's a selfless one, since the main reason you're playing this game mode is to collect the cargo for your daily, but could do this to maybe help a friend. I finally see them coming back, so I start my attack. He ignores me completely, thinking he can depot while I'm attacking. Everything was going well until I decided to board him. Not only did that allow the other enemies to depot freely, but this guy was better prepared for a boarding fight than me. So I basically didn't collect anything and barely wasted their time. Not the best outcome, but it can be really helpful if done correctly. Nothing else to do but defend my teammates trying to turn in their final cargo. However, looking at the score, I realized that the enemy we just sank never turned in his cargo, and our teammate was dropping off the extra cargo now. Surprising win for us, as I did not do anything to help. Hopefully, showing a few rounds of the hunt can help players know what to do. As you can see, a few of us were either not helping or not turning into cargo. This video will help spread the word about how to get better at this game mode, and hopefully in the future people will queue up for it more often. That way, we can all complete our dailies in a fun and less chaotic way.